This morning, Donald Trump is in a crisis control after saying women who get abortions should be punished.
And transportation officials in Portland want to change the traffic flow at Woodford's Corner, a place where there is a lot of traffic pretty much all the time. Good morning, everybody. I'm Lee Nelson.
And I'm Kelsey Fabian, in for Sharon today. And Todd is here. He's got a look at the forecast for us. Hey, Todd.
Kelsey, good morning. Lee, how you doing? Good morning, folks at home. We've got 40s already this morning. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes. We'll discuss that.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump has some explaining to do this morning. He's trying to take back a comment he made last night saying women who get abortions should be punished. It's drawn criticism from Democrats and even fellow Republicans. NBC's Edward Lawrence has more.
Your church, they're very, very strong.
They're allowed to, but the church. Donald Trump is backing off comments this morning where he said women.
Edward Lawrence, NBC News, Washington.
Scammers have started targeting schools across the state. Schools in Brunswick, Biddeford, and Kittery say they have received emails from somebody claiming to be the superintendent of schools. Now, the email asks school employees for their W-2s, their tax forms. Some who received the email called it a pretty good fake. It looked legitimate. Police say all but one employee actually chose not to respond anyway, and even that one employee only provided limited information, withholding Social Security numbers. Police say that skepticism saved information for hundreds of employees. The Maine School Superintendent Association has notified all of its members to watch out for these emails.
The Maine legislature moves closer to passing a bill that would allow apartment renters to carry a gun. The House and the Senate have both voted in favor of a bill which was submitted after a property manager told a Rockland man who had shot and wounded an intruder that he couldn't live in his apartment anymore with a gun. Opponents argue the bill violates the property rights of landlords. The bill still faces additional votes in the House and Senate.
Woodford's Corner in Portland. What a traffic mess. But Portland city officials want to put an end to that mess there. They want to create 2 lanes of traffic exiting the city, hoping that'll allow traffic to flow more smoothly down Forest Avenue. Officials say they also want to put in a bike lane and widen the sidewalks. A lot of people who live in that area say they don't think this is a good idea, though, saying it will eliminate on-street parking. Officials, though, hope the improvements will make Woodford's Corner move a little faster.
All the best places in the city, you know you're there. You walk into Longfellow Square, you walk into Monument Square, you have a sense you're there, you want to linger, you want to shop at the local businesses. Woodford's Corner has some great businesses in it right now, but most people don't linger there. It's not really a very comfortable place to be.
And city officials say they hope to get started on this more than $2.5 million project by next spring.
Moose hunters, time is running out to send in your permit applications. Maine's Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife say applications must be postmarked by tomorrow to be considered. You have more time if you file online. The deadline there is May 16th. This year, the state will dole out 2,140 permits. The permit lottery drawing for this season will take place on Saturday, June 11th.
Starting this morning, the Portland Radio Group is going to set aside airtime over all of its 7 stations to raise awareness for the needs for Maine veterans. Upon returning to Maine, troops and their families get help from the group Veterans Count. And so far, they've raised $2.5 million in northern New England alone, the bulk of that going toward assisting with physical and mental health services, housing, childcare, job support, everyday needs. Every penny raised during the Radiothon, by the way, stays right here in Maine. It is 6:07. Coming up, a new invention meant to disguise a gun as a smartphone.
Take a look. If you haven't seen it already, it's one of the stories you're clicking on the most on our websites this week. More on this and other popular stories coming up.
And temperatures are on the rise right now. It's already on the mild side, but there are a couple of rain showers out there. We'll have more as we head into the weekend. I'm back with the complete forecast in just a moment.
Back 6:10, sun's coming up. We got cakes on the griddle.
I
Cakes
wish.
on the griddle.
I wish we had
Wow.
You know what that is, right?
Yeah, pancakes.
Where that came, yeah, but what quote is that?
No idea.
pancakes. No idea.
Come on,
either.
sun's coming up. I got cakes on the griddle.
Is it a song?
Life ain't nothing but a funny, funny riddle.
Is this before
Thank
my
God
time?
I'm a country boy.
And mine.
Oh man.
The dad jokes just keep coming.
Oh, Kelsey, you're cruising for a bruising. That probably came from one of those old songs too.
Yeah.
Kind of a dramatic sky out there.
Yeah, it was nice.
Yeah, a little sun peeking through the clouds. Well, Sunday through the middle of next week, an extended stretch.
Yeah. All right.
right.
Let's hope that changes by late April. Thank you, Todd, very much. 6:15. One Maine organization wants you to have a good time and help a good cause too.
So if you have some time to spare, Christina Rex knows what you can do with it.
That was very well done, Kelsey. You can bowl here at Family Fun Lanes later today to help Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Maine. I'll have more in a little bit.
A company in Minnesota has invented a gun disguised as a cell phone, and it's captured the nation's attention.
Sure has. It looks just like a phone. When you unfold it, though, it becomes a handgun. Our digital producer, Maylin Tompkins, has that story and more on what you're clicking on this week.
Good morning, everyone. Take a look at this. At first sight, the gun looks exactly like a smartphone. The CEO says he got this idea at a restaurant when a little boy pointed out he was carrying a gun, causing everyone to turn and stare. So he decided to make a gun that blends into the environment. The prototype could be done by June, and so far the company has about 4,000 requests. Also online, a list of the snobbiest towns in Maine. Falmouth tops the list, followed by Cumberland and Kennebunk. But don't worry, this article by Road Snacks is just for fun. You can find the full list on our websites. Also, here's where writing all of those school essays comes in handy. You could win this huge home. It's more than 6,000 square feet by simply writing a 300-word essay. To find out more details about entering the contest, check out our websites. You can find all these stories and more at WCSH6.com and WLBZ2.com. That's it for what you're clicking on this week.
Thanks, Maylin. And today marks the start of an almost 2-month-long event for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Mid-Maine.
Yeah, the mentoring program is encouraging the community to lace up the old bowling shoes and join them for the annual Bowl for Kids event. Christina Rex is in Bangor with much more on the event. Good morning, Christina.
Good morning, Lee, and good morning, Kelsey. Yes, I'm here at Family Fun Entertainment Bowling Lanes in Bangor, which is where the event will kick off tonight. Now, this event is going to help nine counties in the state this year, and that starts today here in Bangor. As I said, it's a bowling tournament that lasts almost 2 months, and it raises money for Big Brothers Big Sisters one-to-one youth mentoring program. Last year, 519 teams participated, and this year, they're expecting over 600 and hoping to raise $300,000. Anybody can sign up, businesses, friends, school groups, etc., and the money is raised by bowlers who pledge and try and get donations. Not to mention, people like to make it fun too, with costumes, goofy team names, as well as a little bit of healthy competition. With me here now is Kate Beal, who is the special events director. Good morning, Kate.
Good morning. Thank you.
Can you explain a little bit about maybe for viewers at home who might not know what Big Brothers Big Sisters does?
Sure. Big Brothers Big Sisters provides one-on-one professionally supported mentoring programs for kids in Maine, and there are over 30,000 kids that are facing adversity. Last year we helped over 750 of them.
Wow, 750 kids is a lot. How can this bowling event, get people excited about it and help out?
Well, it's a great event that has been going on for, I think, over 20 years here in the state of Maine. We start off this week here in Bangor. We're going to be here tonight at Family Fun Lanes and on Saturday from about 4 until 5. And we'll be at the Bangor Brewer Lanes in Brewer next Thursday night, the 7th, from about 4 to 8.
Great. Thank you so much, Kate. And they do still have some slots available for today, I know. It starts at 4 o'clock here at Family Fun Lanes. Kelsey and Lee, back to you.
Good to know. Thanks so much, Christina.
We should mention, too, 6:21 the time, that the Pro Bowlers Tour comes to Portland starting tonight. They did this last year, and they're back again at Bayside Bowl, a weekend event. It's going to be big. ESPN's going to be there, so...
Yeah, I covered it last year. It was really cool. Unfortunately, I got a gutter ball and we were talking about it on TV, but
That's right.
It was cool other than that.
Well,
But Jack Burke, he joins us next.
Yes, we're going to talk about pouting and when did it become sexy, or is it even sexy? And we'll go a little deeper than that, too. We'll be right back. We are back. 624 licensed marriage and family therapist Jack Burke is here now. And this was kind of interesting as I looked ahead and saw what our topic was. Is pouting sexy, or when did it become sexy? And this is going to lead us to a little bit of a deeper conversation, but it's an interesting question.
Is, it isn't, and it didn't become sexy.
Okay.
It's two important things. To feel healthy and good makes a big difference.
All right. That's the last word. Jack, thank you very much.
Thank
as
you.
always, things to think about. We're right back with our final half hour.
In the news today, more sexual assault allegations against former members of the Biddeford Police Department.
Also, Governor LePage talks to concerned citizens of Madison about their future given the unstable state of Maine's paper industry.
And it's the last day of March, but we are already talking about ticks in Maine. Hear more next on the Morning Report. Good morning, everyone. I'm Kelsey Fabian.
And I'm Lee Nelson. Ugh, ticks, one of the downsides of the warmer winter, but there's a lot of upsides too, and it's going to be a pretty nice warm spring day today. Todd Guttner's going to start us off. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, the feel of spring will be in the air for sure. Temperatures already pretty mild. Have a look. Including cold and, dare I say, a little snow.
Don't like the sound of that.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
There might be some of that too. I'll be back in a few minutes, guys.
All right, thanks, Todd. Well, not thanks, because you said snow, but... All right, well, Maine has become the first state in New England to give dying patients the right to use experimental drugs.
Yeah, Governor LePage has signed this bill into law. It allows terminally ill patients in Maine to use treatments that haven't received final approval yet by the Food and Drug Administration. The bill says that doctors and drug companies would not be held liable for any harm, and it also does not require insurance companies to pay for these treatments, which will be available only to patients with less than 6 months to live. But Maine does join 24 other states that do have similar laws already on the books.
New overnight, a fire causes major damage to a section of the Portland Pier. The fire broke out last night around 9 o'clock. It took crews from the city's fire boat and regular department more than an hour to put it out. Fire officials say it was difficult to fight because the flames were underneath the planks of the pier and they had to rip up several sections for easier access. They say there was potential for things to get out of control.
They're not common, but they're really dangerous. You know, we were very fortunate it happened this time of night. If it had been a little bit later with the wind blowing off the water the way it is, it could have been a real serious situation.
Investigators are still looking into a cause. No one was hurt.
Another person has come forward claiming sexual abuse by a former Biddeford police officer. Bertrand Gerard has filed a lawsuit against this man, former officer Stephen Dodd. According to our media partners at the Portland Press Herald, Gerard claims Dodd sexually assaulted him in the late 70s and early 80s. This is not the first time that Dodd has been in the crosshairs of abuse accusations. Last year, Matt Lozon filed a similar lawsuit against him and the whole police department, claiming other officers knew about what had happened and failed to do anything about it. That case is still pending in federal court. Also in Biddeford, police have arrested this man believed to be responsible for a number of recent drug overdoses. Edward Estes is facing drug trafficking charges. A police investigation revealed a batch of what people thought was heroin was actually mostly fentanyl, which is a powerful opioid that's very dangerous when it's mixed with heroin. Police expect more arrests in this case as well.
A man from Abbott finds out his fate today. He's accused of shooting and killing his father. Zachary Grant pleaded guilty to manslaughter last month. The medical examiner's office says his father died from multiple gunshot wounds. He says he has no memory of shooting and killing his father in his front yard in Parkman last May. Grant says he didn't take his medication on that day and got drunk. He then turned the gun on himself but survived the injury. Another murder case in Parkman has its court date set. Robert Burton will go to trial on August 22nd. He's accused of murdering his girlfriend, Stephanie Ginjibo, and then leading police on a manhunt for most of last summer. He hid in the woods of Piscataquis County for 68 days before turning himself in. He's pleading not guilty.
Governor LePage addresses a growing issue across the state, mill closures, this at his latest town hall in a mill town. He talked about the impact closures will have on communities like Madison, in Madison last night. This comes just a couple of weeks after the announcement that a mill there is closing and 200 people are losing their jobs. The governor says the shift from paper to computer use, as well as taxes and regulation and high energy costs, are taking a toll.
There's 214 families, 214 people in this region that are out of work because they depended on that mill. And I think that anybody in the state of Maine who works against manufacturing paper in this state should not be in Augusta.
There was a number of folks here tonight, I think, that were hoping for sort of more of a vision for this town where the mill had just closed. You know, there were some folks that were sitting around here that, you know, might have wanted to hear a little bit more about options for the mill closing, you know, some of the resources that the state and the legislature could provide.
LePage, in closing, said that the town will have to reinvent itself after the closure.
Well, you have to take the good with the not so good. Warm weather means tick season is upon us. Maine health officials say ticks are mostly found in wooded areas and the open or grassy areas at the edges of wooded areas. However, this is not always the case. Ticks can carry several diseases. The most well-known here in the Northeast is Lyme disease. Lyme disease is transmitted to people by bites from deer ticks. It has been estimated that as many as 13,000 people contracted Lyme disease in Maine in 2014. Maine Medical Center Research Institute says to avoid tick bites, tuck your pant legs into your socks and your shirt into your pants when walking in the woods or on tall grass. Wear light-colored clothing so ticks may be seen more easily. Use an effective repellent such as DEET. Your pets are also susceptible to ticks, and if you are not careful, they can bring them right into your home. Experts warn that treating your pets with Frontline or Canine Advantix can help ward them off. Be sure to speak with your veterinarian before treating your pet. Ticks are scary.
Yeah, they're gross.
They are gross. Democrats and Republicans alike both have negative things to say about presidential candidate Donald Trump this morning.
Yeah, because of one particular thing he said. Hear what he said and why he's now taking it back.
Temps will be on the rise these next couple of days, but changes loom late in the weekend. I'll be back with some info for you on the weekend forecast in just a minute.
There we go. Portland downtown. It's right outside the studio here.
Yeah.
Looks a little windy, Todd, with a flag.
Yeah, the wind's already picking up.
Makes me happy I'm not outside this morning. I don't like the wind.
Yeah, the wind is, boy, the last couple of days have been kind of gusty. Today's going to be really gusty, but it'll also be on the warm side too. So, yeah, you kind of take the good with the bad. You know, can't have it all, I guess.
I guess that's right.
Yeah.
Always hope, though.
I went to another school. Yeah, you can hope, for sure. I'm going to hope. I went to another school yesterday in Scarborough, 8 Corners Elementary School. The second graders there, and they have a morning message for all of us.
Nice.
Let's listen.
Good morning, Maine, from the second graders at 8 Corners School in Scarborough. Have a great day. We love weather.
That's a pretty long message.
Yeah, well, they love weather, and I love weather too. So if you'd like to send a picture of your little one into me, and I'll show it during our weathercast, Todd at WCSH6.com and Todd at WLBZ2.com. It's pretty simple.
Awesome.
All right. Thanks, Todd.
Yeah, Todd. 6:47 now for a 60-second check of some other headlines we're following this Thursday morning. Donald Trump finds himself in some hot water this morning. He's taking back a comment he made during an interview saying a woman should be punished if she had received an abortion. This, of course, if abortions became illegal. Trump later said in a statement that doctors, not women, should be the ones punished if Roe v. Wade were overturned. Trump in the past had claimed he was strongly pro-choice. Now he says he's strongly pro-life.
The mosquitoes that can transmit Zika may be closer than first thought. The CDC has put out new maps showing the estimated range of infected mosquitoes. Instead of just being in the southern part of the country, the new map says the range may extend into parts of the Midwest and as far north as parts of New York and Connecticut. Zika can also be sexually transmitted if your partner has the virus. It's also known to cause birth defects in pregnant women.
And take a look at this scary storm damage from Oklahoma. Several tornadoes swept through the state last night. A church in Tulsa, the roof was blown off there right during a prayer group meeting. Nobody in the church was injured, luckily. At least 7 people elsewhere in the state were injured during the tornadoes, however. All right, 6:48, as the saying goes, a diamond is forever.
And it better last forever if it costs this much. Find out what a rare diamond is going for coming up. Welcome back. The president of China meets President Obama today.
Yeah, they're meeting up in Washington, D.C. for the fourth and final nuclear security summit. The White House hoping the meeting will advance U.S.-China cooperation on a range of issues and constructively address areas of disagreement as well. Separately, President Obama will also host a meeting with the leaders of South Korea and Japan.
And take a look at this. This is a rare 10-carat blue diamond. It can sell for an incredible amount of money. Today, one is up for auction at Christie's Auction House, and they have a 14-carat blue diamond up for sale that they believe could go for more than $45 million. The Christie's sale will take place in May, so don't worry, you have time to save up some money. Anyone want to buy that for me?
Well, if I bought it for you, my wife would be mad. CNBC's Landon Dowdy now has a look at the day ahead in business news.
Wall Street may be taking a breather from the run-up of the past few days. Markets closing at the highs of the year on Wednesday as investors continue to digest Fed Chair Janet Yellen's cautious comments on raising interest rates. Look for data today on unemployment and manufacturing. The Dow up 83 points to 17,716. The Nasdaq up 22 to 4869. Meanwhile, Chipotle is developing a burger chain. The company filing a trademark application earlier this month for Better Burger. A spokesperson says the concept was well in the works before the burrito chain was hit by a wave of foodborne illnesses in the past year. Chipotle's other chains include Shop House Southeast Asian Kitchen and Pizzeria Locale. Meanwhile, people are taking off from work to camp out at Tesla's showrooms as the company is set to unveil its newest electric vehicle model tonight. The Model 3 is expected to cost about $35,000, and that's less than half of Tesla's Model S. Production will start late next year, but Tesla will start taking $1,000 reservations for pre-orders today. With your CNBC Morning Business Report, I'm Landon Dowdy.
All right, it's 6:52. We're going to recap the day's top stories coming up.
But first, a look at what's coming up on the Today Show.
Good morning. Coming up on a Thursday, tornadoes rip across parts of the South overnight. Right here on Today.
The recap of today's top stories. Maine has become the first state in New England to give dying patients the right to use experimental drugs. Governor LePage has signed the bill into law. This will allow terminally ill patients in Maine to use treatments that have not received final approval by the Federal Food and Drug Administration. The bill says doctors and drug companies would not be held liable for any harm and will only be available to patients with less than 6 months to live. A murder case in Parkman has its court date set. Robert Burton will go on trial on August 22nd. He's accused of murdering his girlfriend, Stephanie Gingibo, and then leading police on a manhunt for most of the summer. He hid in the woods of Piscataquis County for 68 days before turning himself in. He is pleading not guilty.
A man from Abbott finds out his fate today. He's accused of shooting and killing his father. Zachary Grant pleaded guilty to manslaughter last month. The medical examiner's office says the father died from several gunshot wounds. Grant says he has no memory of the shooting. It happened in Parkman in the father's front yard last May. He then turned the gun on himself, but he did survive the injury. Another person comes forward claiming sexual abuse by a former Biddeford police officer. A man's accusing Stephen Dodd of assaulting him back in the 70s and 80s. This is not the first time Officer Dodd's been in the crosshairs. Last year, another man, Matt Lozon, filed a similar lawsuit against both Dodd and the Biddeford Police Department, and that case is still pending in federal court. And moose hunters out there, time's running out to send in your permit applications. The Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife says applications must be postmarked by tomorrow. You have more time to file online. The deadline there not till May 16th. This year, the state will dole out 2,140 permits, and the lottery drawing for this season takes place on Saturday, June 11th. All right, so you have been warned. Now to the weather. Todd's here to warn us about what's coming up there.
This one will be pretty simple,
Yeah.
pretty easy one today. It'll be a little windy. I think that's the biggest problem. The temperatures you'll like, around 60 degrees this afternoon, a little partial sun. Tomorrow, wet weather returns, some downpours possible in the afternoon, and then it gets progressively colder through the weekend. Although Saturday's still decent, 52 with an afternoon shower. Really cold on Sunday with some morning snowflakes and maybe another little chance for snow Monday night into Tuesday. April's another one of those tough months, you know, where it just keeps teasing you and teasing
Gotta
you.
enjoy it today then.
Exactly.
All right, and so we will. We'll leave you with that thought. Have a good day, everybody.